Good morning and welcome to our morning watch on April 27th. This is part of a series of online content that we are doing to bring our law community together while we are staying safe and socially distancing. So morning watch is traditionally a time during our Rocky Mountain Conference camps where the kids after breakfast go outside, spend some time being reflective, setting an intention for the day. And these videos are just intended to be short and sweet with a little reading from the Bible, a short reflection with a couple questions, and I'll leave you with a blessing. So today I am going to read to you Psalm 23. And it's a very, very well-known psalm. Even if you've never read the Bible, you've probably seen it quoted in TV shows or anywhere else. And I think it's often quoted in the King James Version, which is beautiful and poetic, but also sometimes a little hard to understand in our modern context. So it's beautiful, so I'm going to read it, but then I'm also going to read it to you in the Message version, which is a great modern translation. So here we go. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table for me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And the Message version. God, my shepherd, I don't need a thing. You have bedded me down in lush meadows. You find me quiet pools to drink from. True to your word, you let me catch my breath and send me in the right direction. Even when the way goes through Death Valley, I am not afraid. When you walk at my side, your trusty shepherd's crook makes me feel secure. You serve me a 6-course dinner right in front of my enemies. You revive my drooping head. My cup brims with blessing. Your beauty and love chase after me every day of my life. I'm back at home in the house of God for the rest of my life. So I like those two translations together because the first is familiar and poetic, and the second helps us think about what that passage is really about. And I think when I am reading this in our current context, in the state of the world as it is, I think about how in the midst of the valley of death, or a dark and desperate and scary place, it's not that remembering God or remembering our blessings or being grateful necessarily will take us out of that space. But I think sometimes your mindset depends on where you put your eyes, on what you pay attention to. And I get this image of this passage has a lot of rich imagery, and it makes me think of being in a dark and scary and barren valley, maybe even with like bones, because it's the valley of the shadow of death valley in the Message translation. But in there is also the imagery of still waters, of fresh, clean pools you can drink from, and soft grass you can lay in, and the sun on your face is what I think of when I think of laying in soft grass. So, and then there's the image of the staff in the King James Version, or the shepherd's crook in the Message version. And when you can focus on God's guidance, which may look different to different people. Maybe it is reading and studying the Bible, or listening to messages from your spiritual community, or maybe it's the still quiet voice that you hear when you are calm and still enough to follow your own heart. But when you set your sights on those things and focus on those things, you can make it through anything. So I would invite you to think about, metaphorically, what is the valley that you are afraid of, or that you travel through, or you have traveled through? What's a dark and scary place you've been, or are right now, you may be? And then what is the still pool of water that you can drink from? What is the source of refreshment? And what is the lush meadow or the green valleys, the resting place? Where do you feel safe? And how can you make it through the hard times by remembering those two things: the safe place to be, the reviving source that you can draw from. And remember to focus your eyes on those things. That's all I'm going to leave you with, because I am an ordained pastor who loves to preach, and this could go on forever, but I'll leave it there. What's your valley? What's your fresh water? What is your green pasture? And I am going to make myself invisible so I can leave you with a blessing. Holy God, thank you for an opportunity to set our eyes on you, on your guidance, on the ways in which you lead us, even in the midst of things that are scary. Guide us in this time of fear and of a feeling of being in the valley, because we remember, God, that you are with us even there, in all places, in all times, as close to us as our own breath. Thank you. Amen.